Let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why you are here? Why, out of all the moments in history, God placed you in this time, in this place? It's not by accident, and it's not without purpose. This message is for those who are brave enough to ask these questions and seek the answers in faith. God speaks to each of us, not in a loud, overwhelming voice, but in a quiet, steady assurance that carries the weight of eternity. He says to you, I have chosen you to do great things. Every step you take, I am with you. These words are not just for the extraordinary or the perfect. They are for you exactly as you are, with all your struggles, doubts, and imperfections. I know the road isn't easy. Life has a way of testing us, sometimes in ways we never expected. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, when the journey feels too long, too heavy. But in those moments, I want you to remember this. Your life is not an accident. Every trial, every victory, every quiet moment of reflection is part of a plan far greater than we can imagine. God is telling you, press onward. Even when fear whispers that you're not enough, even when failure tries to convince you that the story is over, God is there, walking beside you saying, keep going. He didn't bring you this far to leave you now. You were created for something greater than yourself. There is a purpose written into your very being, and it's not defined by your past mistakes or the challenges you face today. It is defined by the one who created you, who calls you by name, and who promises to walk with you every step of the way. So I ask you again, will you trust him? Will you believe that your life is part of a grand design, even when the way forward feels uncertain? Take heart, my friends. Press onward with courage and faith. The God who calls you is faithful, and he will never leave your side. Overcoming pain and the shadows of the past. Pain is something we all carry at some point in our lives. It creeps in when we least expect it, and the shadows of the past can feel overwhelming, casting doubt on our present and fear over our future. But my friends, let me tell you this. God does not intend for us to live chained to our pain or haunted by our past. He is a God of healing, restoration, and hope. When you are weighed down by suffering, it's natural to wonder why. Why did this happen? Why does the road have to be so difficult? In those moments, it's easy to feel as if God is far away. But the truth is, he's closer than ever, offering a hand to lift you up. God says, do not let the past hold you down. What matters is that you are alive today, and there is goodness waiting ahead. The shadows of your past do not have the power to define you unless you let them. They are not who you are. They are simply where you've been. God's promise is this. He will take that pain, that brokenness, and transform it into something new. He doesn't just heal the surface wounds. He goes deeper into the places we often hide, even from ourselves. He wipes away the bitterness of the memories and fills those empty spaces with his love and peace. Forgiveness is an essential part of this journey. And I don't just mean forgiving others. I mean forgiving yourself. It's easy to hold on to guilt, regret, or shame. But God reminds us that his forgiveness is complete. He says, I have already forgiven you. You owe nothing to anyone because I have set you free. If there are people in your life who refuse to accept you, don't let that define your worth. Seek out those who can see you for who you truly are. The way God sees you, as someone valuable, worthy, and deeply loved. This is not an easy path. Letting go of pain, breaking free from the shadows, takes courage and faith. But remember this, God walks with you every step of the way. He doesn't leave you to face these struggles alone. His hand is always there, ready to lift you when you stumble, ready to guide you when the road ahead feels unclear. So, take a deep breath and trust in His promise. The past is a chapter in your story, not the whole book. You are not defined by the mistakes you've made or the pain you've endured. You are defined by the love of a God who sees your worth even when you cannot see it yourself. Let this be the day you take that first step out of the shadows. Let God's light lead you toward healing, forgiveness, and the future He has prepared for you. The journey won't be easy, but it will be worth it. With His love, you can overcome anything, even the pain and shadows of the past. The power of forgiveness and self-value. There is something profoundly transformative about forgiveness. It has the power to break chains, to set us free, not just from the mistakes of others, but from the weight of our own regrets. God's forgiveness is complete, unconditional, and life-giving. He says, "I have forgiven you. You owe nothing to anyone, because I have set you free." But how often do we struggle to forgive ourselves? We carry the weight of our failures, our doubts, and the words of others that make us question our worth. Yet God reminds us that our value doesn't come from what we've done or failed to do. Our value comes from Him. He created you with a purpose, and nothing can take that away. Sometimes we find ourselves in relationships or situations that drain us, that cloud our sense of self-worth. God speaks to these moments as well, saying, if others cannot accept you, seek out those who see your true value. You are not meant to stay in toxic relationships or environments that diminish who you are. It takes courage to step away, but it's necessary to protect the freedom and dignity God has given you. And freedom is exactly what God calls you into. A freedom to live fully, to dream boldly, and to embrace the blessings He has prepared for you. He invites you to leave behind the ties that hold you back and to step into a life filled with purpose and promise. Leave the chains behind and walk toward the land of blessing, He says. This journey is not without challenges. It requires faith, courage, and trust. But remember this, God is with you every step of the way. He is the one who forgives, who restores, and who calls you forward. When you face uncertainty or fear, hold on to His words. I have plans for you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Forgiveness and self-value go hand in hand. When you accept God's forgiveness, you begin to see yourself as He sees you, loved, valuable, and worthy of all the blessings He has promised. So today, take a step forward. Forgive yourself. Let go of what holds you back. Trust that God's love is stronger than any failure, and His plans for you are greater than anything you could imagine. This is the power of forgiveness. This is the gift of self-value. And this is the life God invites you to live, free, full, and deeply loved. Let His light guide you, and trust that He is leading you to a place of hope and joy. Believing in divine providence. The path of life is rarely straightforward. It twists and turns, often leading us into moments of doubt and uncertainty. But amidst it all, there is a truth that brings hope. God's providence is at work, guiding us with a wisdom far greater than our own. He reminds us through His word, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." Isaiah 55:8-9. This is the essence of believing in divine providence. We don't need to understand every detail of our journey. God doesn't ask us to have all the answers. He asks us to trust Him. As Proverbs says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Proverbs 3:5-6. In His providence, God makes promises that transform lives. He promises to turn sorrow into joy, to restore what was broken, and to bring peace and happiness where there was once chaos. These are not just words, they are assurances rooted in His unchanging love for us. But these promises also require something from us: a willingness to bring our burdens to Him in prayer, to let go of worry, and to speak kindness into the world, even when life feels heavy. God's providence also reminds us of our unique place in His grand plan. You have a role that no one else can fulfill. He says, "Nothing can make you stumble when I stand beside you." Your life is part of something bigger than you can imagine, and your value in His eyes is beyond measure. Sometimes the challenges we face can feel overwhelming, but God's light is always there to guide us. He calls us to be brave, to face trials with courage, and to trust that He is leading us towards something greater. Every moment of faith, every step forward, is part of His divine plan for your life. And what about the future? God's promises extend far beyond the present. He assures us that faith and perseverance will bear fruit. You will see the rewards of your faith and the efforts you have made. He says, your family will be blessed, and your hard work will flourish. Believing in divine providence means surrendering to a love so profound that it doesn't leave us where we are, but lifts us into something better. It means trusting in the One who sees the whole picture when we can only see a small part. So my friends, take heart. Trust in His promises. Offer your worries to Him in prayer. Speak with kindness and protect your soul from negativity. Let His light lead you through the challenges and into the blessings He has prepared for you. The road may not always be easy, but with God's providence, it is always worth it. God's enduring love. Let us take a moment to reflect on something extraordinary: the enduring love of God. It is a love so deep, so constant, that no mistake, no failure, and no circumstance can ever separate us from it. God's words to us are clear and unwavering. I love you no matter what. Nothing can separate you from my love. Think about that for a moment. This love isn't earned by what we do, and it can't be lost by what we fail to do. It's not conditional on our successes or our struggles. It is a love that endures through every season of our lives, the good, the difficult, and even the uncertain. God looks at you and says, "You are my most precious creation. You were made with purpose and with care." These are not empty words. They are a divine affirmation of your worth. In a world that often tries to define us by what we achieve or what others think of us, God's love reminds us that our value comes from Him and Him alone. This enduring love is a foundation for everything. It gives us strength when we feel weak, hope when we feel lost, and peace when life feels overwhelming. It reminds us that we are never alone. Even in the darkest moments, God's love surrounds us, lifts us up, and carries us forward. So, let this truth settle in your heart today. You are loved, you are valued, and nothing, no hardship, no failure, no fear can change that. God's love is enduring, unshakable, and constant. As you go about your day, hold on to this promise. Let it guide you, encourage you, and remind you of who you are, a beloved child of God, created with purpose and cherished beyond measure. Let God's enduring love be your strength, your peace, and your hope. It's a love that will never fail you. Life can often feel like an uphill climb. There are days when fear creeps in, when worry weighs heavy on your heart, and when the future feels uncertain. But listen closely to what God says. Do not be afraid. Do not worry. I am here, and I will renew your life. These are not just words of comfort. They are a promise. God is not distant. He's right here with you, walking every step of the journey. He sees the road ahead, even when you cannot, and He assures you, your future is full of good things. Press onward with faith When doubt starts to cloud your mind, remember this: God's plan for your life is always for your good. It may not always look the way we expect, but His ways are higher than ours. Trust that everything He does, even the challenges, is part of a greater purpose for your growth, your strength, and your joy. How do we hold on to this trust? It starts with something simple yet powerful: prayer. Begin each day by turning to Him. Offer your fears, your hopes, and your uncertainties. In prayer, you'll find peace that no circumstance can take away. And as you press onward, hold this truth close to your heart: God's love is unshakable, His presence is constant, and His promises never fail. The journey may not always be easy, but with Him, it is always full of hope and purpose. So today, take that next step with confidence. Press onward because God says, "I am with you, and I will lead you to a future filled with goodness." Trust in Him, pray without ceasing, and walk forward in faith. You are not alone. God is with you, renewing your spirit and guiding your every step.